Liam, thanks for your time. Got to address the elephant in the room firstly. Is this your last season at Hull FC?
I'm not sure yet. Just maybe stuff going on in the background, but nothing. We're just at the moment just concentrating on finishing the season here first.
Looking at your time at the club as a whole so far, how would you reflect upon
it? Different. It's been a big change. It's been tough couple of years just with on-field performances and stuff like that. But all the boys have made me massively welcome, and I've really enjoyed my time around them, regardless of what happens going forward.
When you look at the club when you joined and the sort of negativity surrounding the fact that seasons would often always end on a bad run of form and a campaign would trail away, why don't you think you perhaps have been able to change that over the last two seasons?
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not too sure. That's for other people to decide and whatnot. It would have moved what were really appealing to me at the time to come here, and like I say, the boys have been class with me since welcoming me, and I've really enjoyed my time here.
This season in particular, how difficult has it been for you?
Yeah, same again. It's not been ideal on the pitch. There were a lot of hope going into this year. We were always wanting to go a fair bit better than last year, but it's not meant to be. It's not happened this year. But there's still 10 games to play for this year, and hopefully we can kind of get a few results in this last 10 games.
When you look at it, having been here over the course of the upheaval during the off-season and then the current transition, I suppose, with people coming and going, what do you think's gone wrong ultimately?
Just different people have come in with different ideas. Obviously Tony had his way of doing stuff and how he wanted to go about it. It didn't work out for Tony, and now Richie's come in and he's got his philosophies and how he wants to go about how he wants to run the place and stuff. So again, it's just something what we've had to deal with. Different people have got different ideas, and it's just something what we've had to go along with.
How easy a transition was it for you working under Simon Griggs, having sort of been with him for the brief end of last season and then during his stint as assistant head coach?
Yeah, obviously we knew what Griggs were about, and I won. A lot of boys knew him before, so I think it were quite a seamless transition. Obviously it were a tough transition for him in terms of where we're on the pitch, but I think in terms of us working with someone we'd currently worked with before, it won't a massive change for us.
How have you found that as well, seeing a head coach being sacked mid-season?
Yeah, tough. You're pretty disappointed that we contributed to the sacking. We didn't really perform how we wanted us to perform. So again, it's you take a bit of ownership there, but just that's something you can't dwell on too much. There's not a lot of time to dwell on it. You're back on the pitch the week after, so it's just something what happens, part of the parcel of the game.
In terms of yourself, what consolation have you taken from this season in terms of being, I suppose, mostly injury-free, and you've played in most of the games so far this campaign?
Yeah, that's probably one of them. I think I had our in and out last year with a couple of little niggling injuries. So I think in terms of that wise, it's been good to get a good run of games under my belt. I haven't played where I probably was last year when I was playing some decent rugby. But again, it's just one of them. Just what happens, and other than that, I'm happy to have not had to sit out a few games for little injuries.
And I know you spoke about it in pre-season about being surprised at being one of the older statesmen in the team. How have you found that with the current crop of young players that have been blooded so far this year?
Yeah, it's strange. They remind you about it. They remind you that you're knocking on a bit, especially compared to them. But I don't feel it. I don't feel like that. I remember when I first came into first team, the likes of Ryan Hall and stuff were staying the same. They was like 9 years older than me and stuff, and I don't feel 9 years older than them. It's just what the actual age I am. But like I said, they don't let you forget about it.
When you think about when you played with Ryan and how he may have helped you during that time at Leeds Rhinos, how have you then this season tried to help the younger players? What role have you played in that?
Nothing major, just little tips. I think especially with the likes of say Lewis Martin and Harvey and stuff who've kind of played on my edge, just kind of maybe giving them little tips on what should happen here, what should happen there and stuff like that. I think I'm not one of them massive talkers who come out with loads of stuff. I think it just, especially with my little edge, and just little tips here and there when I feel like it's needed.
And one of those younger players, David Litton, came in at centre in the derby. How do you think he got on?
Yeah, very good. I thought he were dangerous with the ball. I think he's been knocking on the door for a fair bit now, especially with his performances in the reserves. So it was nice to see him get out there and put a decent performance in as well.
And how pleased are you as well in the centres, although he could sort of be deployed elsewhere, but Ed Chamberlain coming back to the club as well?
Yeah, again, it's great to have him back. He was good when he was here before, and I think we were pretty disappointed to lose him. But it's nice to have him towards the back end of the season now as well.
Looking back at the derby, something that Simon Griggs spoke about was the disappointment that the team straying away from what they've been working on during the week and dipping in and out of that plan. Why do you think that happened in particular in the derby?
I'm not sure. I won't say it's the occasion because I think everyone knows what to expect from a derby. It's just probably our discipline, like Griggs has said, with sticking to a plan what we trained for all week. There was too many times, especially from this last period as well, where we do kind of go away from it or we don't stick to it, which we are trying to work on and we are trying to stick to it. So hopefully we can get that right.
What do you need to do in order to stick to it then? Is it a physical thing, a mental thing?
Just mentally, I think. It's just, everyone knows what we're doing and everyone knows what the roles are, should be doing. It's just sometimes we do veer away from that when the game gets going and we just kind of defer to something else. Whereas, the game plan's there for a reason, what we do in training and what the coaches think will work, and it's just sticking to that more often than not.
If you don't stick to the game plan, how badly could Wigan punish you this weekend?
Yeah, probably a fair bit. They're a great team, especially this year. With how they're playing this year, they've got some great players. So, we know we need to really try and stick to it the best we can for the full 80. And, they're going to come at us regardless of that anyway. So, I think the game plan with the ball in hands, yeah, it's there for us, but it's probably more defence oriented this week.
I suppose for you and a few of the other players in the squad, the two meetings that you had last season, beating them at the MKM and then going close to Golden Point away, how much heart maybe can you take from those two performances going into this game? Yeah,
probably can, but we're probably at a different stage at them points last year. I think when we played in both, I think we played the first time, we was on like a little bit of a run of a few consecutive wins, and then again when we lost to them just at their place, we were still probably on the right track. We might have lost here and there, but we're still on the right track. Whereas this year, it's I think it's a bit different. We've picked up performances the last few weeks, but again we're not where we need to be or where we wanted to be.
From those two performances last season, if you were to pinpoint certain aspects of those performances, what would you need to replicate from them?
I think just sticking with a grind. They're going to come at us regardless. They've got some big boys and they've got some great strike players on an edge. So, it's just try to stick in with set to set and a grind, and see how we go off the back of that.
Just finally, I think judging from Simon Griggs' comments, I think he's got the effort and he's got the improvement, but then I think he wants to see more. What do you think you need to do more of in this game to continue this recovery that you're on at the moment?
Again, just sticking to game plan longer than we normally do, and probably just taking some more chances. We've created a couple of chances last few games, and I just don't think we've kind of took them and been clinical. And I think where we are at the moment, we need to be taking them to be in the game. And fair enough, we have been in the game, but in terms of coming to get some points on the board and coming away with 2 points.
Liam, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Hi Liam. When we talk specifics of game plan, what is it that you boys are going away from compared to what Simon's telling you to do?
Probably just more. We'll look at stuff where if we certain parts of the pitch we get into, and to do something off the back of it, and probably there's times where we'll be a little bit away from this certain area of a pitch, and it'll kind of break down, and I think that's a bit of a weakness at the moment where if we do go veer off track just a touch, we kind of seem to break down where it is what it is. You're never going to get on every single blade of grass, and you're just sticking with that.
You mentioned discipline. Is it also a continuity as well? Because I'm guessing those things can't help if you've got different players in different positions every week.
No, I don't think so. Everyone knows we've got a squad of 30. Everyone sees what the game plan is and goes out there and trains. So everyone should know what they're doing and how the game plan looks. It's just us actually going out there and sticking with it.
How's the confidence been in recent weeks? Obviously, with this little resurgence, obviously a lot more competitive in games, obviously picking up a couple of results as well. What's the mood like in camp and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's been better. It's been good to be competing in games and being there or thereabouts. But I think everyone's a bit bored and a bit fed up of just saying, we're still in the game. Like with that, we don't want to be that. We don't want to be just in the game. We want to try and get some points on the board and come away with a couple of wins. Everyone's fed up of losing around the place, and yeah, we've kind of picked up from where we were at the start of the season, but again, it's still not good enough because we're not getting any wins.
Has that been the talk then? Because Simon did mention that last week, did he say it's alright competing, but this is Hull FC? It should be more than that, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he expects that. He wants that from us. We want that for ourselves and for everyone involved. We've been well under par this year, and it's not been great. But now we've kind of little bits of improvements here, there and everywhere. We do want to come away with a few wins to try finish the season off strongly.
Just a case of tidying up the game plan areas then to get those wins, because obviously the effort's obviously there, that's non-negotiable now, but tidy up a few areas.
Yeah, I think so, but sticking with the effort as well. We can't forget about that. You know, it's all good and well about game plan, but you do need to have the effort areas there and stuff like that. So yeah, we're not bypassing that, but you know, it's something we need to stick to as well.
Cheers, Liam.
Hi Liam. Just going on about the game plan in a nutshell, you talk about some of the things we're doing, whether it's discipline and everything, but you've said yourself about making sure we're in the game and not only being in the game, but then going on from there. I think some of the things that I've noticed over recent weeks, well, recent months, apart from the Leeds and Warren displays, just that first 10 minutes, you know, of a game, 15 minutes, it's killing us, because then we come into the game and we're just getting beat. So from a player's perspective, you know, what's it like trying to switch on and engage and everything there straight away?
Yeah, well, obviously that's the idea, to be switched on from the start, but I don't think we're a team at the moment where we can afford to give other teams an early 12-point, 18-point lead, because it's too hard for us to come back from. Yeah, we might get back into the game, but it's tough for us to get the win on back of that. We need to start strong and, you know, either nullify that 12-point deficit straight away and try to get a sense on the board first.
Yeah, because obviously it's worked against Leeds and Warrington, even though we still lost against Warrington, but it's only just. But when you look at some of the other games, Saturday for instance, and then we start steamrolling and it looks as though why won't we switched on? So from a player's perspective then, how do you, because every team's got their own game plan as well, that you've got to counteract. So when things aren't going well, what do you do to motivate the team to get?
It's just an individual thing, you know, everyone's just got to be switched on. Like, I know we're going on about game plan and that's a massive part, but to concede 18 points is more defence orientated and, you know, an attitude kind of thing to go from the start. And, you know, regardless of if we stick to it or not, we still shouldn't be letting in 18 points within the first 12 minutes and then try to claw his way back. So yeah, just probably attitude thing on the back of that, just to, you know, cut teams out on giving them an early start.